now let's talk a little bit about SCC and what's going on around campus, because, man, there is a lot. I sat down and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to capture it all. So if I don't answer your questions, and I know the burning one, and I'm going to save it to the end so that you stay. What's that, Brandon? No, I'm not going to, just because you asked. But if I don't answer your question, make sure you ask me. Okay, well, the Career Academy. I do have this picture up outside of the campus office so that you can kind of take a look at everything that's going on with that academy. And I have some notes here I want to cover, make sure I cover everything. So far, up to this point, everything is on target as far as construction goes. College Park Road will open up Monday morning. So you can clap for that one. Yeah. They were worried. They actually wanted to close it the day of graduation. And I said, oh, no, you cannot do that. So they closed it immediately the next day, and they really worked hard to make sure that it was opened back up for students on Monday. So thank goodness that is on track. The wells are you might see some of the wells being dug out there. And if you drive by, I swear every day something changes out there. You can kind of see some of the pictures I took, or had Bang take these pictures when we first started taking out the trees. Now the poor trees are gone, which is kind of sad, and it's just a big old bunch of pavement out there, but we'll make it look pretty soon. The basement footings are being poured, and they're working on all sorts of utilities and everything out there, kind of the underground sort of thing. Here's what it's starting to look like now. So let's talk a little bit about, all right, the topic everybody wants to know. Is O Street really closing? Craig, are you in here? I don't think, there you are. So he assures me, he has been, I swear he's on the phone with the city of Lincoln every single day with that sign up there. And finally, didn't you just kind of say, change your sign? Do you want to tell them what? Here, I'll let you tell it, because I don't want to steal your glory. I'm going to put you on the spot, aren't I?
The city is resealing the concrete at the intersection, so they are shutting it down while they do that, but they will keep a lane open the entire time. Most of the work will occur at night. So for those concerned about getting onto campus, you'll still be able to get on campus. Monday, like Bev had stated, the west entrance will open, and the asphalt is done out front, so O Street should be good to go.
Yay, right? Did that answer your question? Yay. So now let's get the city of Lincoln to change their sign, because everybody thinks. Now, I will put out a regroup message to the students so that they know, whether they get their text messages or not. We'll see. But hopefully they'll know that they can still come on campus and get there via both College Park Road and O Street. Now, if you are coming from the east down O Street, those of you who live, I know, Diane, I talked to you about coming from Bennett and stuff, you might want to pick an alternate route, because that is going to be closed for a little while. So come up 84th or come down 84th in some way or another. So that's what this picture shows us. Most of the resurfacing is occurring, I'll get my little pointer here, along this area right along here. So we're open past our entrance. And then College Park Road will be opening up too. Let's talk a little bit about parking and what's going to happen. As you can see, there was lots of construction going on in the parking lot out there. And the plan was that by the time we came and started the summer quarter, that this lot was going to be open and ready to go. And on Monday, it will be open and ready to go. So now we've got parking a little bit closer to the building. That's the good news. The bad news is that this lot, those of you who love to park in that lot right next to the building, it's going away. Sorry. For a little while, we have to fix it. If you've noticed, there's a giant hole in the middle of it. It's wonderful to drive around it. My kids ask me every day when I bring them out, Mom, why is there a hole here? I'm like, we'll fix it. We'll get to it. It's okay. It'll be fine. But let's talk a little bit about that flow. This is hot off the presses, and I know it's not the best quality image. But we didn't even get this electronically. Craig was able to get from the, who brought this to you? Hampton, who's doing the construction on site. So this is the 8800 O Street entrance. So there are 2 side roads that you'll see that'll be opened up come Monday. This one, the one closest to the, closest to the entrance, the one furthest east and south. Get my directions right here. You can enter in this way, and then there's 2 ways into the parking lot. It will be lined, painted, all ready to go. You can start parking there Monday morning. Okay, there's another entrance over here, but this is only going to be a one-way parking or a drive lane for a while. We want to make sure people are safe as they're walking up to the building. So if you're a parent dropping off a child, if you need to get to the bus route, or you can continue on moving this way, coming up and around like we normally do. This parking lot will be taken out of commission and worked on. It'll be new concrete, not asphalt, so hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. And then this will be the traffic flow, so you'll be able to come up, drop your kids off. So daycare, you can tell that to your parents when they're those who don't come on campus to work. Or bus routes will come along here, go and leave out this way. So we don't want you coming in this way. If you're going to come into the parking lot, come in over here. Now you can park here, but you're going to wondering, well, how do I get into the building? So this is a 2-lane street. One side of it will be for traffic, for the flow of buses and cars, etc. The other side we'll make as a walking lane. So you'll have a safe walking space all the way up to, here's the curve around the child care. There's a south door over here down by the A section that's open. It's always been open. You'll be able to get to that sidewalk and enter in the building over there. Or you can continue around on the sidewalk in front of the curve by the daycare. So you will still, any questions about that flow of traffic, parking, anything? Do I have a question? Okay. Great question. What she asked was, is there a way that she could get this maybe electronically to hand out, or daycare, or anybody else who wants to hand it out to people? Yes, we'll get it out. I'll put it out with some minutes or something in updates, and you can use it. Yes. Karen, would you grab that as a note and make sure I do that? Okay. Any other questions? That was a great question. Okay, the academy itself. I oftentimes get people asking me, well, what is it going to look like? How does it work? It's a 2-story building, and so those of you who haven't been a part of some of these discussions up to this point, you can kind of get an idea. Here's the first floor. It connects, so if you kind of get your bearings, this is the whole south side of our building. Now, I'll talk about this space in just a little bit. This will be a whole new parking lot. So if you imagine the south parking lot the way it was before, it was all of this. We're just taking a path of it. This will eventually be parking. During construction of the building, it will be at their staging area for construction. People will be able to come into the entrance of the academy right here and then proceed up into SCC. So you can still, those of you who like to work and park on the south side of the building, you can still park on the south side of the building even after it's built and come in the academy doors and go straight into the rest of SCC. That's not a problem at all. There's a little, going to be what they call like a little shop for the entrepreneurship focus program with LPS. That'll be accessible right there. And who knows, they might hit you up and have you buy something from them. Hopefully they're doing that in their curriculum. Then there's going to be a door here that buzzes you in because like LPS and all the other policies and procedures, LPS facilities are locked down while students are there and they have to be locked in. They call this the commons or the wedge. I guess I can understand why they call it the wedge. It looks like a wedge. And then this is the first floor with classrooms and labs, and I won't go into all the details of which ones those are. Second floor is just right on top of this wedge area. It does sit up, the profile of the building sits up about 8 feet above our building, and it will be very visible from O Street. Any questions about the plans for the academy? How many of you had seen some of this prior? Not very many. Okay, so does this help? Is this good to see it? You like seeing it? Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about how it connects to the building. This is going to require some construction within the building itself. So think about the south hallway. It narrows down there by the A and B section. That's going to be taken out and widened all the way through the bathrooms. So where the bathrooms are, that goes all the way and keeps that hallway one great big large hallway. So what that's going to end up doing is taking out a couple of classrooms and part of Steve Bassett's office area. Steve, where are you? I'm going to give Steve a little present through all of this stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is part of the construction, that's not going to happen until they build 2 new classrooms. So right here, along this hallway, we are going to get 2 new science labs. So to replace the ones that they took out. All of the science instructors will get moved into an office right now. I mean, they're here and there throughout that whole A section. And then we're going to, and I'm saying this publicly so I can help make it happen, get a gross anatomy or a cadaver lab. So we're going to try to get that done. I think that's pretty exciting. Boy, now that got all you talking about having a cadaver lab? Holy mackerel. All right. Before I go on, are there any other questions about the academy? We are working really hard, too, as far as how students get registered and admitted into the academy, and that's going to be coming. Lots of policies and procedures to be ironed out there yet. I don't have the answers. So what else do we have going on? Well, there's ESQ, the never-ending project. Hopefully, it will be done. Craig guarantees me it will be done by the end of, most of it by the, well, okay, so maybe we don't know when it'll be done. But it's looking better. I was actually there taking some of these pictures yesterday. Criminal justice space is coming along nicely. So Rita and Sam, you'll be able to move into that fairly soon, hopefully end of the month maybe. It gives you the entire quarter to kind of set up your space a little bit before you start using it in the fall. There's a jail cell, so for those of you who need to wonder what to do with Brandon, now we know where to put him.
The new career academy looks like a bit of a prison.
Oh, nice.
Actually, when I saw that, it looks exactly like the new jail's pod.
Well, now we know where our kids. Did you guys all hear that? They said that the academy's floor plans look like a prison already. Well, I think that the high school students will probably see that.
The way the tiers and how it's
Nice.
set up with the day room, it looks just like the new jail.
Nice.
They changed the common area to the yard.
I don't know if you heard that. He wants to change the name of the wedge to the yard. I'll tell that to you. That'll be good. Brandon, you're quite the comic relief. All right. Well, a couple of things I wanted to point out in addition to the jail cell down there is this one. I just can't wait for this one. There's going to be the blood splatter room. All right, the blood splatter room has windows all around it. And I can't wait until I get the phone call from somebody walking by on the skywalk saying, there is somebody murdering someone in that room there, and you need calling the police about it. So that'll be fun, and I can't wait, Rita, until you get that all set up. A couple of other things you'll notice. The ELE group, and those of you who've been involved with the ELE group, would you please stand up? I know I saw Jill in here earlier. ELE group, stand up. Let's give them a lot of kudos. That's a group that just doesn't go away. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I love it. But what they keep asking for is more flexible classrooms. You know, and that's really what we need. We need to be able to move these classrooms around so that you can make the space the type of space you need to be able to teach in and do the activities. So here's an example of one of the classrooms. They call them the half rounds. They're on wheels. Chairs are on wheels. You can flip the tables around, move the chairs, and now you've got a big, long, nice circle that you can do stuff with. So it makes it a lot more flexible. Here's another classroom. You know, down at ESQ now we have Adult Basic Education, GED, and ESL. They work very closely with the Department of Labor and the American Job Force area. And so they've got a kind of a dual computer lab and meeting space down there, classroom space as well. So pretty exciting. They'll be finishing up the organic chemistry lab, and everything will be, I'm going to go on public record saying this, will be ready to go fall of 2014. Finally. When did we start that project? Okay, we don't want to say when we started that one. All right, any questions about ESQ? It's taken our maintenance guys a long time, and they've been very focused down there, and they've had to do an awful lot of work. So do you think they're going to be bored when they get done with it? No, because guess what we're going to do next? The cafeteria. Woo! Yes. Really, that cafeteria has not changed since I was a student, and I don't want to say when I was a student. This is a long time ago. Now, don't take this picture and say, "Ooh, this is exactly what it's going to look like." This is just an artist rendering. Kind of gives you an idea of what it could look like. It's been approved. Things are rolling. We've got lots of domino effects that I'll kind of cover in a little bit. But the idea is what they call, what is it, Joe, a scramble? Yeah, scramble. So if you've been to the Milford's cafeteria, you kind of know what we're talking about. There's these little hot wells and cold well stations, so you can go, I think about, hospital cafeterias is what I think about. So you go eat to whatever area you want, and you get your food, and then you'll be able to go out. Here's a floor plan that's been approved by the Board of Governors. So I want to say this really loud and clear so I don't get emails and questions about it. The cafeteria will never close down in the entire time. All right, Craig? It will never close down. We will always have cafeteria services. At least that's the plan, right? So the way it'll work, and I know this isn't the best drawing, and I'll be able to send it out to everybody when I send out the kind of an email and summary of everything we talked about. But to get your bearings, here's the current existing kitchen. And then probably right around here is, the space that you have. So you walk in, you get your food, and you walk back out. All right. Look at how much more space we're going to get for the cafeteria. And I don't know, is Jeanette in here? Pretty exciting stuff that we're finally getting that cafeteria to look like that. Pretty large. So actually where, right now, this is all tables and chairs, and the vending area is right over here. This will all be, you will enter the cafeteria from that big hallway. So kind of getting your bearings a little bit there. We will have some extra vending and that sort of thing. Here's the vending along this way. So keep going down that hallway to give you another idea. So here's B3 and B5. So the B hallway is over here. Here we have what used to be the old student services area. All right, so we're expanding into that space. You'll notice where there's like there'll be a little vending doorway and a little vending doorway. We're even going to create a little meeting room area that can be opened up or closed up, because through this process we are going to be taking out G1 as the all-purpose room for food and that sort of thing. We're going to be identifying other rooms in the building where you can have food for meetings and et cetera. But this could be closed off and allowed to be used for that. Now, the other part of it is the teaching kitchen. And again, the existing kitchen and teaching kitchen will be The existing kitchen is the same. It doesn't get changed much. So the construction itself is more demolition. We'll sub out parts of it. You can kind of see what's the biggest change here is where the restaurant. If you've ever taken any of the, gone to any of the luncheons or dinners that the Food Service and Hospitality Program puts on, they've been doing it in that E1, E2 area. That's what's going to be revised in this space. So they are going to get a whole new restaurant, and it'll be much more of a simulated restaurant for their students to work and learn in. And then additional seating throughout. I think ultimately in the end, I can't remember, but we've got about 100 more extra seats, if I recall, through the whole process. There's even some little patio seating that we're going to put out in the hallway and some canopies to make it look good. So it's going to be pretty neat. Pretty exciting, huh? Finally? Okay. All right, so how's this going to work? Boy, this isn't, it's hard to read. Sorry, this is a lot. But there's a lot of domino effects that have to happen for this to get all completed. One of which is we're moving the Hospitality Food Service Program offices. They've already been moved. We did a lot of work over the summer break. They're moved out of the backside of the print shop to G4. All right, the backside of the print shop is going to become and be remodeled to be the print shop offices. The print shop's going to be shortened in size a little bit. And so when you go to get your printing, we're going to be revising that, and that will be happening over the next, this quarter, during the summer quarter. We'll start planning that. We're going to build another wall. So G1 will be a classroom primarily for the hospitality program, and then G2, we're going to get another classroom right next to it that'll take up a part of where you go in right now and you drop off your printing. That part will become another classroom. So they'll have their 2 classrooms right there next to the cafeteria as well. That'll be kind of take over their E1, E2 kind of. So if you kind of think about, well, where are they getting displaced at? In the meantime, while this is all happening, we had to move their classroom, which was G4, is now their offices over to D2. Believe me, this will give you a headache if you really try to think about it too much, so don't. So, and then bookstore, we moved Dan from the dock over to D5. It's been musical chairs throughout the whole summer. And then we thought, well, while we're at it, let's move IT. Just throw that in there too. So IT is going to get fully moved over to the J1 area and take up that little back old studio space, kind of by Trio and Retention in the backside there. So we're just going to make that a little bit more user-friendly for them. Over the Christmas break, we're going to set up the temporary servery. So when I said that we will never shut down the cafeteria, the way it's going to work is we're going to first demolish the south side and get it set up. So we're going to take out the student services overflow area where people are sitting now. That'll get taken over. We're going to get that set up to be new seating and the new E1, E2, the new dining area for the program. Then we'll eat in there. We'll set up a temporary serving line over Christmas break. Come winter quarter, that's when we'll start on the cafeteria side. So we'll just do one side and then be able to move over to the other side. So it'll just clear as mud, right? My plan is April Fool's Day, we're going to open up the cafeteria. Yep, we're going to go for that one. Just to be kind of funny. Okay, well, somebody might be asking, well, whatever happened to the plans for the LRC? Well, I'm just going to wait on that a little bit. At this point, we're going to, I've done a few things, gathering some information, but, let's just do one project at a time for a little while. What do you think? Does that sound like a good plan? Okay, let's see, what do I have left? Just a few other things. I do want to give kudos to Craig, and I would like all the custodians and maintenance staff to just stand up for a little bit and be recognized. They have worked so hard over the summer break. It's just been tremendous. They've been flipping rooms, Some of it's been frustrating. I know some staff and faculty came back to not stuff put together very well, but I'm hoping that that gets fixed and taken care of. I called a few people this morning to make sure that was done. So I apologize to the medical lab tech programs because their offices didn't get moved. But Med Lab Tech is going to be moving to B3, and then medical assisting taking over all of B37. So that's another. We did some things in R6 for the instructors there. So hopefully you guys like that, yay. And then, gosh, what else did we get done? Craig, do I have all of our? Oh, here's an important thing. Dan Hohensee has been hired as the new director of the academy. All right, so he started July 1, but there's no academy for him to be housed in. So we found a room. We converted, well, it didn't really need much converting, but the old GDMA classroom and office space in T12 is going to be Dan's office for this next year. So if you are looking to talk to the director of the academy, that's where he's at. We are also putting the new GIS GPS program in U7, and then U5 has now been converted to a classroom too. So lots of stuff that they did. You might notice the paint going on around campus. Another part of the painting project has been whiteboard paint. We've got whiteboard paint that we're putting in several of the classrooms, especially down at ESQ, kind of giving it a trial, so give us some feedback. The thought is that when you've got those interactive projectors projecting onto the whiteboard, it reduces the space for you to be able to write on. So if the whole wall is painted, now you've got more space. I've got it in my office, and it's really great. So that's what's happening with paint around campus. If you hadn't heard, somebody mentioned this to me the other day, and they didn't realize it, but one of the things that the board did before Dr. Huck retired is they changed the name of the Continuing Education Center to the Jack J. Huck Continuing Ed Center. So that's just some things on facilities. I mentioned the flexible classrooms. I've got 4 other classrooms that I've switched over. So what we tried to, because we got so many classrooms to flip, it's going to take us a while. So what we did was we put casters on the current long tables, and then we purchased chairs on rollers. So I've got 4 classrooms, B20, B22, T3, and D7 are all flexible classrooms this year. Yay. What's that? Okay, it's not T3. T13, I knew there was a 3 in there somewhere. I just forgot the word. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about safety and security, some other things that we have going on. So one thing we noticed when we started shutting off the sidewalks or the access for the students who were living in the apartments over there, they were walking along the street. And so obviously that's not a good thing. So now Craig has got a sidewalk along the whole west side from about the bay, the paramedic bay door, all the way down for the most part, the whole way, right? Had to kind of reposition some of the welding stuff to do that. We're also going to be adding another one on the north side of the building just because that space right there by the R door is really a bad spot. We want to better direct traffic and get people to really stop at the stop sign that's there. You expect more stuff in the next few months about information security. That's been finalized, the whole plan. So now different campus information security teams are going to get going. The other thing that we really need to work on is a process for emergency evacuations. I don't know about you guys. I can't remember the last time we had a fire drill. So that's one of my priorities is to get, what's that? It wasn't a drill? Okay, well, we want to have drills so we know where to go. New walkie-talkie people who are monitoring the doors and that sort of thing. So that'll be coming up. And then one thing that Craig's working very hard on is to update the key system. Oh my. You know those little lovely blue cards? So they were in nice little filing drawer thingy, and we have no idea. So you're going to be getting some emails. I think at this point now, Craig, you've got almost all identified. we're making it electronic. So each of those cards have been turned into a spreadsheet. Now we're going to be contacting you and saying, do you still have a key? What did you collected from Carol Lee? A whole packet of keys that were like, these don't even work down here. I don't know where they came from. So we need to tighten up our security key system. And that way you can have the keys that you need when you need it, and we know who's got them. Finally, financial aid. Financial aid orientation. There was one this morning, not very well attended, and we really want to have people attend these and learn a little more about it. When I was attending one of the Student Senate meetings, and the students said, you know, we are confused about financial aid, and we really wish you would make us take, honest to God, they said this. We wish you would make us take a class about financial aid so we knew what to do. I didn't know I had to pay it back. I mean, honestly, they said that. But luckily, I was able to say, guess what? Starting July of 2014, any student who is getting financial aid has to attend or take this orientation class. And otherwise, they don't get their financial aid. And let me tell you, the Student Senate was thrilled. And it was great to be able to say we had already done it. So for you to help those students understand this process, because it is confusing. I'm still struggling understanding it. Please attend the next orientation. There's one tomorrow, right, Stephen, like 11 a.m. in here? Okay, so please come tomorrow, 11 a.m., to learn a little bit more about what students are going to be learning as far as financial aid goes. Another thing we're piloting is career advising down at Education Square. I think I called it Energy Square earlier. Education Square. We are going to start it Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that right, Carol Lee? Who's standing? I can't remember now. Wednesdays? All right. So we're going to have a student, because what they were noticing was students would come in off of the streets or say, hey, I'm interested in going to college. We've got this incredible presence downtown. Yet there was nobody there to say, well, yeah, come on, let's talk about this. What do you want to do? So, and we can say, okay, well, yeah, go out to 8800. Well, if they don't have transportation, I mean, there's a different demographic of students that often populate downtown. So we need to be able to provide the services that they need. Finally, SEP and SSI. You got an email from Mike Pegram this morning. So we did the SSI, the Student Satisfaction Inventory, and got lots of great feedback from it. Before we finished the quarter in the spring, we had focus groups with students on each of the 3 campuses to get more details. What did you mean by this? If this is a challenge for us, what can we do to make that better? So we've got their feedback. Now we need your feedback. So Mike had sent out, he's got 3 times in Beatrice, the Continuing Education Center at ESQ, here on the O Street or 8800 O Street campus, as well as Milford. Try to attend, I mean, there's a lot of them. Attend at least one. Give your feedback. Learn what the students are saying and why they're saying what they are in regards to their satisfaction, so that we know what areas we can improve on or change or make some of those revisions that we've been talking about. Now we have an opportunity to be able to do. And, yes?
On the financial aid orientation, is it just they're not going to get their financial aid, or does it also affect that they won't be able to register either?
Well, good question. So her question was, does it mean that they won't get their financial aid and not be able to register? Stephen, you might want to help me with that one.
We do not put a hold on their registration.
That's what I thought.
They just are not awarded financial aid.
Right. So if they want to pay for it themselves, they certainly can still register. So we didn't want to put up that roadblock too. It's also online.
Yes.
So even if they're not able to attend one of the orientation face-to-face sessions, they can go online and learn about it there and get their requirement completed. So it's pretty quick. Deadline is by the time they need to be awarded to pay for the class, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Super. Good questions. Well, guess what? That's all I've got. Oh, questions. All right, Joe, go ahead. I did. Food and drink in the classroom. I'm coming up with, and Lisa's and Chris Meeks are working on this for me, but I want to have, you know, if you'd notice on some of the classroom doors, that old only food and drink or only bottled water is allowed in the room. What did I say? I Kids will have a whole other hour of years of service. This could be bad. So we need to change those. They're starting to look bad. So we wanted to change them up a little bit. And I wanted to create two kinds of decals, in a sense. One color would say, this is a room that we're allowing food and drink in. This is a room that only bottled water is allowed in. So that way people would know the minute they looked into the room what was allowed in there and what wasn't. I know I get lots of questions. Hey, Bev, can we have food and drink in this room? Can we have food and drink in that room? Well, after a while, I just approve them, and it's like, well, then, gee, why are we doing that? Well, it really does impact the custodial work and just the look of the college when we're constantly having to clean up after spills. And so we just want to be able to identify those rooms. We just want more of them around campus so we know which ones they're allowed in and which ones they're not. It just kind of makes some sense. Thank you for pointing that out, Joe. All right. Guess what? That's all I've got for updates. Did I answer all the questions? Oh, right. Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, it was Brandon's question, I'm sure.
We're wondering, is it all students that have any sort of financial aid or only the new incoming students that will have to take that?
Very good question. The question was, is this financial aid orientation requirement just for new students, or is it for anybody prior? It's required only for new students, but we did tell all continuing students they are more than welcome to come. It's on the website, it's on the hub, and we're telling them about it. And I even told the student senate, yeah, anybody can come, and we actually encourage you because it's hard to truly understand all those rules. Question?
It's about the vice president of IT. Have they hired a new campus director for Milford and the vice president of IT yet?
I don't know if y'all heard that. The question was in regards to the vice president of IT and the Milford campus director. As far as I know, no, but that doesn't mean I may be the last to know.
Okay.
I don't know. But I do know interviews have been done. That's what I do know. Good question. What else? If I can't answer it, I have to say I don't know. Question, Craig. I didn't hear that, and I'll let you do it. The work order system. You want me to? Okay, you have to add it to it. So Craig is piloting a work order system software. We're going to get away from the printed yellow sheets eventually. That will allow users to go onto the system. It's out there in the cloud. They go onto the system and they put in their work order. And it could, change this light bulb. And then it gets automatically assigned that we'll do within the system itself. Then you'll have the opportunity afterwards. You'll be able to track it. You can see when it got assigned, when it got completed. Eventually, you'll even be able to give your feedback. Yay, right? You can say, yes, it was done. No, it's not. This still needs to be finished. So a very proactive, something Craig brought in at the very beginning that says, we need to be able to track this. It also has preventive maintenance involved in it. So they've got all the different equipment that needs preventive maintenance is into the system so that we know, hey, why don't we maintain it instead of chasing it? And I also know that Craig is working really hard on the HVAC. Some days it's freezing, some days it's hot. I don't know. Good luck on that. I don't want to learn about HVAC. That's all I got to say. All right. Other questions? Okay. Well, that's all I've got.